Huh? What are you doing in my swamp?
Hello everybody, this is Overboy and I'm going to be doing my review for the 1997 movie Alien Resurrection. So, in this movie it's set 200 years after the events of Alien 3, and Ellen Ripley is cloned and an alien queen is surgically removed from her body so that she can be able to live and everything, and the United Systems military hopes to breed aliens to study and research on the spaceship that they're on, and they're also using human hosts abducted and delivered to them by a group of mercenaries. And when the aliens escape, Ripley and the mercenaries have to attempt to destroy the aliens and the ship before it reaches its destination, which is Earth, and so it's not invaded by aliens. This movie is pretty good. I actually like this one quite a bit. I had never seen this one before. I'd forgot that I didn't watch it when I had my box set that had the first 4 movies. Alien 3 was so bad I decided not to even bother with this one. I'm glad that I finally watched it. But it's a pretty fun movie. I think that it's a little bit ridiculous at times, and everything. There are things that kind of don't make a lot of sense, like them cloning Ripley. They were able to find some of her blood 200 years later, which, I mean, I guess is not totally impossible, but it just, I don't know, it didn't really, it kind of just felt like a lazy way to bring her back and everything. But I think that she was still really good in here. I like how Sigourney Weaver plays her. She plays her in a different way than the other movies, and I like that. It kind of shows her range as an actress too, that even though she's still playing Ripley, you can tell it's not the same Ripley we knew from the first 3 movies. And I like that. I think the visual effects hold up pretty well. There is some dodgy CGI, which, I mean, you're going to get that in the late 90s anyway, but a lot of it holds up really well compared to a lot of stuff that came out in that era. Like, it holds up better than, like, the Godzilla that came out a year later, or some of the other movies that just have really bad CGI in the late 90s and early 2000s, like The Mummy Returns, for example. The CGI in that looks terrible, but the CGI in this holds up compared to that. But yeah, the visuals look pretty good, and there's a lot of cool practical effects with the aliens too, which is great too. And you got Brad frickin' Dourif in here, and he's not in it a lot, but every time he's on screen, he's just a pleasure to watch. I love Brad Dourif. I mean, he's freaking Chucky, so of course I love him. But he's great in this movie too, and everything. He gets a pretty brutal kill though. And this has some pretty decent kills and good suspense and stuff. And there's a twist with Winona Ryder's character that I did not see coming at all. I don't know how I never had that spoiled for me, but it really took me by surprise. And everything. I didn't know much about this movie though. Like I said, even though I hadn't seen it, I didn't really watch much about it or know much about it going in, except I had heard that some people say that it was worse than Alien 3, and that kind of made me like, okay, if it's that bad, I don't want to see it. But I'm glad I finally watched it. I'm really glad that I was wrong, because I really enjoyed this one. Now, I don't think it's as good as the first 2 movies, but it's still a really entertaining movie in the franchise. So yeah, I'd say I'd give Alien Resurrection an 8 out of 10. It's really enjoyable, has a great cast, awesome sets, a lot of great practical effects and stuff, and it just, some dodgy CGI, which is really my biggest negative with it. And like I said, some of the dialogue, the exposition dialogue explaining how Ripley was brought back to life and stuff, just wasn't as good. I think it would have been better for them to show us than actually explain it, and poorly written dialogue. But like I said, aside from that, I think it's a pretty fun movie, and it's a solid kill 2 hours. It's not anything super great. It's not as awesome as Aliens or as intense and amazing as the first Alien movie, but it's still really entertaining. So let me know in the comments what you think of Alien Resurrection. I personally think it's kind of underrated. Do you think it's underrated, or do you think it deserves the hate it gets? Let me know in the comments, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.